The events of the film take place in a small American town. One day on television announced that at a secret military base located nearby, there was an accidental release of a deadly experimental virus, which clouds covered the entire settlement. Frightened by this news, the locals hurriedly leave the town, taking with them the minimum of necessary things. The hero named Ray decides to also leave with his family wife Claire, as well as a young daughter Zoe. Driving on the motorway leading out of the settlement, the man notices that all the cars for some reason return. It turns out that the governor declared their city a quarantine zone, after which he ordered the military to block all exits. Suddenly there is a loud rumble, which shakes the ground. Then in the sky appear fighter jets. The planes drop bombs on the cozy little town, turning it into charred ruins. Then they turn around towards the motorway filled with people who want to leave this place. The heroes realize that the next shells will fall directly on the heads of the fugitives, so Claire, who works as a teacher, offers her husband to hide from the bombing in a small bunker built in a school nearby. The family miraculously survives at the very last moment, having managed to slam the lid of the shelter, but the woman assumes that they are probably also infected, because the invisible and deadly virus spreads through the air. One day little Zoe has a nightmare. Her mother Claire finds the frightened girl under the bed to calm her daughter. Ray plays solitaire, then says that there is no one else around but them. The daughter asks permission to check personally. The locks are locked and the entrance goes up the vertical ladder to the hatch leading outside, where he makes sure that the exit is securely blocked with locks and chains. Taking his father's knife, Zoe scratches out on the wall another vertical line, meaning day, then counts all the marks. It turns out that the family has been hiding underground for 301 days. Soon Claire is inspecting the tin food stockpile, selecting breakfast food. Meanwhile, Ray is once again fixing the jammed pumps that supply them with drinking water. Suddenly her daughter says that the tin of tinned peaches is empty, whereupon the woman sees. She throws the emptied container into a drawer. Then it turns out that this is not the first time that food has been stolen. Someone is eating their supplies. Enough to last the family for a fortnight, so they will have to cut back on their diet. After inspecting the bunker, the inhabitants notice that the ventilation grill is slightly off, so they conclude that it was through it that a hungry rat has crept into the room. The next day, Claire uses a mirror, a stick, and empty tin cans to construct a makeshift periscope so that her frightened daughter can see for herself that there are no spooky spirits in the vicinity, and then allows Zoe to climb up to the ventilation grate leading outside to see the deserted world around her. The mirror reflects abandoned, trashed houses, a school, a children's playground, a wrecked car, and a burnt, devastated forest. The door to the surface is littered with debris, so the woman tells her daughter that no one even knows about their hideout. Suddenly Zoe notices a huge rat eating their tinned food, wakes up her father, then he quietly sneaks up to the shelves and tries to kill the animal. The rat, sensing danger, manages to escape literally from under the blade of the knife, but Claire manages to finish the rat. In the ensuing silence, the family hears a strange crackling noise, then sees that during the chase a burning paraffin lamp has toppled onto a table. The glowing vapors of the fuel rupture the lamp, and then a fire starts in the underground dwelling. Claire tries unsuccessfully to knock down the flames with the help of a cloth. Meanwhile Ray tries to start a completely ill-timed broken water heater. The family then works together to extinguish the fire, but the smoke from the fire logically drifts upwards through the vents, showing us the place where the survivors have been hiding for almost a year. Using a homemade telescope, Ray sees that the ash from the burnt wooden pole, and even layer covered the area of the bunker, completely declassified its location, after which Claire says that there is no way out. We have to get to the surface to cover all traces, leaving little Zoe downstairs. The parents for the first time in 10 months of life underground go outside, where they can stay no more than 3 minutes. This is the maximum time in which the deadly virus cannot affect their bodies. The frightened girl watches as her mom and dad clear the area. Suddenly she notices that a shadow is moving from the forest, and then she also goes outside to warn her parents of the danger. A pack of deer runs past the family. Ray then reassures her daughter that the forest animals are harmless. However, Claire is not in a hurry to rejoice, because if the animals ran out of the forest, it means that they were frightened by something. So the family hurriedly returns to their underground dwelling. Soon someone's heavy footsteps are heard outside, as well as loud deep breathing. Zoya starts to cry frightfully, and the father asks his daughter to stop, but it is too late. The monster has guessed that there is someone under his feet. The family is terrified, but then an unexpected incident happens. the girl's talking doll accidentally snags a cord on a pipe, causing it to start speaking recorded phrases. Ray cuts the toy with a knife in a hurry and pulls out the speaker, then smashes it with his foot, however too late. The entrance hatch over the heads of the people who have been trapped begins to move, then someone with inhuman strength violently pulls the barrier, causing the chains to fly to pieces. Ray hacks the water pipe, hurries upstairs to strengthen the fastenings, but the lid suddenly lifts, after which the glowing eyes of the monster appear in the resulting slits. The man smashes the end of the pipe right into the monster's face, and then still manages to lock the entrance. The walls of the shelter move and it becomes clear that the monster has been joined by a pack of its kin. The door can't withstand the enormous pressure, it breaks and falls down with a crash, then the furious humanoid monsters burst into the room. Claire sets fire to the curtains leading to the bedroom room, then together with her husband blocks the burning entrance with a stick. The only path to escape turns out to be a ventilation shaft. The head of the family plants his wife, then his daughter, but he himself cannot squeeze through the small opening because of his broad shoulders. The hero decides to take a desperate step. Having gathered courage, he dislocates his shoulder joint and half crawls to the surface, but one of the monsters drags the man back. Claire and her daughter find themselves on a motorway blocked by the military. A helicopter searchlight flashes above them, after which a trap net falls on them from above. Through the mesh Zoe sees monsters with ominously burning eyes approaching them. As the monsters get closer, it becomes clear that they are in fact military. The soldiers point their guns at them, whereupon Claire goes berserk, suddenly transforming into a strong, fast, bloodthirsty zombie. It turns out that the experimental virus, which was accidentally infected the townspeople, is not actually lethal, but a combat virus. It is triggered when adrenaline enters the bloodstream, turning a person into an aggressive super fighter. Suddenly the commander of the cleanup team falls down with a torn throat. It turns out Ray survived, but now he also does not look like a frightened, accidental survivor. The military fires many bullets at the enemy before he finally falls silent. But during this time, the prisoners manage to escape. The soldiers go in search of her and soon wound Claire, but they fail to finish the victim. Zoe's angry zombie daughter attacks the soldiers from the rear. Her mother reminds the bloodthirsty girl, and the main rule is to calm down, after which she takes a normal human form. The heroines say goodbye to the head of the family who died from bullets, then hide in the labyrinths of sewer channels. At night the girl wakes up from the sound of someone's footsteps, and then she is surprised to see a neighbor boy, who survived by hiding here from an air raid. The boy leads Claire and Zoe to the shelter where many of the town's infected residents are hiding from the cleanup team. All of them are also trying to keep their aggression in check by blocking their adrenaline to remain normal people. And that's all for now. Subscribe, put likes. Thanks for watching. Bye.